Welcome to the channel, guys. Today it's going to be a little bit of a different video than normal. For those of you new to the channel, these aren't our normal videos. Usually we're just going after trophies. And those that are been around a while, you know this isn't quite that normal. Well, I wanted to do a little bit of a how-to getting started beginner's guide to Way of the Hunter. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Now, starting out, there's really two ways you can go about it in my mind, or you can combine the two into a different way of going about it. But the two ways in my mind is you can focus on herd management right out from the start. So in Way of the Hunter, you can grow your herds to be trophy class herds by culling out smaller level animals and letting the bigger ones grow and let their genetics flow through. Or the other option is you can just focus on getting money right away. And by staying focused on money, you're going to be able to buy new things right out the gate. So starting out, I want to talk gear, what you're going to start with, and what I think you should get as you progress and get money. This applies to both rounds because you want better weapons to take the trophies. And if you're focused on money, you're probably focused on it for the reason of being able to afford things. Now, if you go into this shop, you start out with Grandpa's old rifle, which is a 30-30 lever action rifle, 6-round capacity, and a cheap scope. The scope you start out with is the Leupold BX Freedom 2-7. It's a good starting scope. I do recommend upgrading pretty quickly. The two best scopes in the game are the Leupold BX 6 HD 3-18 and the Overguard Long Range 3-15 by 50. Now, the lens clarity on the Overguard isn't quite as clear as the Leupold. The Leupold is worth quite a bit more though, so I recommend getting the Overguard plus the reticle is actually better. I run with the Leupold now because I had gotten the money for it, and it was the first one I bought because I like Leupold and I wanted to get a Leupold. The carbon optic and the red dot, really good for shotguns, not something to worry about right out the gate. And then upgrading your weapons, usually most people will go to the 7mm Odd 8. Right off the bat, it's a little bit cheaper and it does better at taking down whitetail and mule deer pretty well. The best one for whitetail, mule deer, things in that class range of 5 or even higher if you wanted to, is the Steyr monoblock, which is the 308. It's by far the best gun in the game for deer species, the smaller ones, mountain goats, bighorns, things like that. It can just drop them in their tracks really easily. Going after really big game, red deer, moose, elk, the 300 Win Mag Steyr SM12 is the go-to. Small game, you can go with the 223. You can go, you can stick with the 243, works just as well. There's multiple different options. The 338, just put that out of your mind. Wait to get that for quite a while, because you got to be at distance for you to get the whole hunt rating if that's something you care about. If you want to do long range, the 338 is definitely the one to go with. But starting out, I'd focus on getting the SM12 and the monoblock right out the gate. It'll help you kill more animals quickly, which means more cash, and help you get trophies down or herd management down a lot quicker. Shotguns, if you bought the elite option, I think is what it was called, you'll get this one right out the gate, the Cinnamon Sky, the Jack, which is 12 gauge side-by-side shotgun. Works great. It's really powerful, can take down pheasants and ducks and the like of flying birds, including rabbits and stuff like that pretty well. I ended up going with the Morning Silence afterwards, and it has a bigger mag capacity. It's a 20 gauge. It's better for taking out multiple birds at once if you're focused on making money, which is a good way to go about it. Now, really, there's the two options, and they kind of work the same, but there's some things to think about more in depth when you're going with the herd management versus the money. Money, you're kind of killing everything that you see, but I still want to recommend being diligent about how you do it, because you don't want to kill out a bunch of does or your herd population is going to start to dwindle. The females are your reproduction force. If you kill them all out, you're not going to have that great of quality of herds. If you keep them alive, your herd numbers will stay larger and you'll have more opportunity to take more animals, which means more money. Now, when you're going for trophy class animals, you don't want to be taking out the youngs, you don't want to be taking out the adults, you want to be taking out the matures, which is the same case for money, because you get more money for them because they weigh more, and we get paid per pound or per kilogram of meat sold. The only difference is if you're going for trophies and you have, say, a 4-star mature, you want to let that thing age and grow, hopefully to be a 5-star. I do recommend, if it's the first time you see a 4-star, take it. You can learn a little bit about that being the first 4-star of that species. You can learn quite a bit in the harvest screen. But let's get down into the riverbank. I'm going to start out where you start out at, and we'll hopefully find a herd and kind of show some difference in those herds, and then you can kind of understand better what I'm talking about. We should have some deer herds down along the riverbank just like you would, and we'll see if we can find them. Okay, we found a herd, and it's whitetail, and it's just down from the cabin. Now what I mean is, where you start out is up here. It's just down to the west of there, along the riverbank, you'll find a lot of whitetail, badger, pheasant, red fox, mule deer, all along the river here. And it's one of the best places to start. You'll get to learn a lot about the animal species and whatnot. With the hunter sense turned on, you can see what the animal rates, what his trophy score is currently. You can hear animals running away and breaking twigs. That sounded like they were right next to me. Now in here, what we have is a mature female, an adult female, and then 2 adult bucks. Now, yeah, we got some more back in there too, back in the bushes that we can't see. We'll see if we can get a little better view on these guys and the ones in the bushes, but let's talk about what you're looking for when you're looking at these for both options. Now, if the money option's pretty easy, you're just looking for the mature, I would, like I said at the start, I'd recommend looking at the bucks or the males, because you'll hurt your population if you just go after does. Because like this, we have a mature doe, but I'd recommend leaving her. That way she can create some more offspring, and probably just take out one of these adults. You won't get as much as far as meat out of them, but you won't hurt your population. And now, if you're in the option of just wanting to get trophies and increase herd management so that you have better trophies, you want to get in a little bit closer, take a look at these 1-star adults, and see which one has the lesser antler rack. This is going to take some practice, getting to know the animal. Hey, we got a 2-star adult as well. So that's one you'd want to leave. That's a great example. We want to leave him. He's possibly going to get into the 4-star range. If we're lucky, he'll get into the 5-star range. But these 1-star adults probably won't ever hit the 5-star. Might get lucky and hit 4-star. So we definitely want to get in close. Just take it slow, crouch and slow walk. You got to slow walk anyways to have your hunter sense going at the start. Now you can't get that upgraded in your character. You have perks and things like that. But there is a perk in here that allows you to run hunter sense without being slow walking. There it is. Eagle Eye Hunter Sense Perk. Oh, well, never mind. That's not it. That's a different one. There we go. Walking Sense. Hunter Sense also works when walking, so you got to interact with 30 unique animal signs, either static or dynamic. That means you got to have your Hunter Sense on and interact with like feed zones, tracks, sound analysis. But you got to be slow walking when you first start out to use that. Now, trick for getting in really close. These guys are still a decent ways out that we don't have to worry about it. But if you're getting in really close, crouch and slow walk. I don't like going prone. I feel it makes more noise. But just take a couple steps and stop. Take a couple steps, stop. That's what I recommend for doing this, especially once you get into that 100-yard range. or 100-meter range. It's going to help you out a lot more getting in close and using the 243, which I did pick up, and what I'm going to use is the 243 since that's what you guys have to use starting out on these deer, and that'll just help you guys understand how it works, because you do got to be quite a bit closer with the 243. The 308, you could be out 300 plus yards and still take down a deer pretty easily. So as you can see, we've worked our way in quite a bit. We're within 100 yards of these guys, and they're moving through. Now, a big thing, if you're herd management, and the reason you want to get in close so you can see these antlers, because your binoculars, I have the 10x binoculars. You're going to start out with the 8x binoculars. I'm not sure where these guys are going. They just want to get closer to our 2-star adult. But you'll start out with the 8x binoculars, and now, so you got to get quite a bit closer to see. The big trick is to pull out your rifle, because you have a little bit more zoom on it, and you can really get in. I have the loophole on, so I can really get in. I got that 18 zoom, and I can kind of see. So that guy's pretty small for a 1-star adult. We had that other 1-star adult that ran over to the 2-star, who was actually looking pretty good. But just kind of look at their antlers. Yeah, like this guy's a good size 1-star. He's one worth keeping around and alive. He's got a decent rack on him. And all this only pertains if you are going for trophy animals. They do have a little bit of a bug when they go to lay down, which is always funny to see, where they kind of jerk around like that. Sometimes they'll end up in the ground with their head sticking up, which is kind of funny if you think about it. But if you're just going for money, you could have shot one of these by now. I am far close enough. Keep it about 150 yards, I'd say, starting out with the 243, because that's going to give you a little bit better chance of getting that thing down faster. Takes a little bit to get in, especially getting in close. You got to take it really slow so that you can really see what you're dealing with. I'm just double checking this herd because I am trying to grow out my whitetail herds. It's a decent looking level 1 or 1-star. So I do think this 1-star is the one we're going to take. He's looking a little funky, and see his antlers aren't symmetrical all that much. He's pretty small. This one was looking really good. If you leave your hunter sense on, you have this little red dot. You guys see that right on my reticle? That's so you honestly don't have to adjust your zero. Unless you're going out past 300, I don't recommend adjusting your zero at all. Since this guy's standing up, we're going to go ahead and take him. We are using the 243. Go for an easy double lung. If you hold the trigger down, you won't cock the rifle until you let go. And you can see his blood trail, but I always drop a waypoint where I shot him. And then if I can keep an eye on where he went last, I'll drop another waypoint, a blue one. And that just shows where he last was. And when you let go of the trigger, you cock the rifle. It just helps you keep an eye on him better. It's a little easier that way. Just some tips and tricks along the way. Help you out. Let's get over here to this guy. Pick him up and see what we got. Now, a big thing is making a good shot, because tracking can be pretty difficult if you don't make a good shot. Here we made a really good shot. A lot of blood. He's going to have a fast death. You've got air bubbles. You can see it's pink and dark red in there. It says the color is pink, and you can just see how easy this is to track. I mean, he didn't go far. I think we nicked his heart or an artery, because he just is dumping blood, and he's dead right here in the bush. But taking a good shot makes for an easy track, means you can get back out there hunting a lot quicker, making money or herd management. But as we can see, his antlers aren't all that symmetrical, and that's what I saw. And that's going to make him be bad genetic potential, which means he would pass that gene on through the herd if we don't take him out now. So hopefully the respawn from his death gets the genetics from the rest of the guys in the herd. At least that's the theory so far. If we pick him up again, you could see those antlers a little better in the harvest screen. You can get a good look at it. It's not symmetrical, but our shot placement was really good. We got him right double lung and a little bit of cavity damage into that heart. Actually, a lot of bit of cavity damage into the heart. A really good shot. A little far forward. Could have held back a little bit more to get a perfect heart shot. But that's a great shot. He didn't go for it all. And then in here, we can see he only had a 32.65% genetic potential. This only applies if you're herd managing. Otherwise, it doesn't really matter to you. Right now, you're just focused on getting cash. But you can see we got 204 credits for him. Now, 32.65 is a great one to take out. You can tell by how wonky his antlers is. He's got bad genes. Take him out. Hopefully, we'll get some better genetics into the herd, especially taking him out at a younger stage. But yeah, this is a good one to take. At that 85%, it has a chance of hitting 5-star. I've seen it. It's pretty rare. Really shooting to having a 90% genetic potential to guarantee that it's 5% going to be a 5-star. So if you kill something and say it's like a 3-star and you have that 88, 90% in there, you might have killed something that could have been a 5-star, but it's okay. It's a live and learn type of moment, and it doesn't hurt you too bad. Do you see my difficulty set to Hunter? This is something I don't think that they've changed yet as far as I know. Hunter is technically easier than what you start out on. What you start out on is the adventurer difficulty, and it is below Hunter, but there's a little glitch there where I think they're flip-flop. So when you start out, you're going to be on the harder setting, and you can't change that until you complete the first 5 missions. I think it's 5. It might be 4, but the first few missions until you unlock the other maps and multiplayer, you're going to be stuck on adventurer. And then if you want to make it a little easier, you can go to Hunter. I've been running it for quite a while now to make sure that it is easier, and I can definitely get in a lot closer on the animals being at the Hunter difficulty than when I was at the adventurer difficulty. It is something I'm going to be switching up, go back to adventurer and see maybe they fixed it, or maybe it's still just as hard, but it does add for a little bit more realism. In the hunt, you can see how much we lost for meat, which isn't much at all. This pertains to the guys wanting to make money using the right caliber. Say if I used the 300 Win Mag or the 338, I would have lost pretty much all the meat. I wouldn't have made much of anything on it. So it's useful to use the right ammo. The smaller the bullet, the less meat you lose. If you want to go really small, maybe use the 223. I guess you could try it with a 22. I don't recommend it. But yeah, you could use the 223 on them as well, and it would help save you some meat if you buy that rifle. And you'll be able to make a little bit more, but not much. I mean, you're only losing 1 3/4 pounds, so it's not really worth it in my mind. Now, if you taxi things, you don't get charged to taxi them. You don't get charged until you go to put them up and actually mount them in your lodge, which is a nice addition and pretty nice thing to have. Now, as far as what animal makes you the most money, honestly, I probably would say black bear. They give you quite a bit for black bear, but they don't weigh that much. You can get them to weigh quite a bit. Some of those harder to hunt species can give you quite a bit more money per pound. But if I had to say the best way to do it, just hunt what you can. Just run around the map exploring it. Hunt what you can. Take out the matures. You'll make money. Best way to make money, though, is doing objectives and missions. So when you go into here, you can go to your objectives. You get all sorts of different objectives. You have the storyline. You have jobs you can pick up. And then you have tasks that you can do. The tasks are related to the map. There's private areas on the map, like Falls Reservoir, Sheep Eater Ridge, Holly Witch, and then of course Diamond Drill. Every cabin that's down there you have to get to and explore to it. But once you get there, there's notes on the tables. Follow through those, you'll make a lot of money really quick. I want to say it's about 1,000 credits per objective you do in there, and then that'll unlock this area. If you make money via hunting, you can just purchase the area and then do the objectives as well. Do however you want. Doing objectives and the storyline missions will make a lot of money really quick so that you can buy the better gear pretty fast. It's honestly the best way to make money, plus you're killing things and getting to harvest them, so you're getting money by doing those objectives that way as well. Now, I think the last thing to talk about, and this pertains mainly to those wanting to herd manage or those wanting to hunt specific species and farm them for cash or credit, however you want to call it. we'll jump into the map and we'll kind of talk about the ones I know. Now, my favorite to go after, Rocky Mountain elk. I've gotten quite a few of them. I've gotten, at this point, 4 or 5 stars. My first 5-star came from up here at this campsite in He Devil Mountain. He was actually feeding up in here. We chased him up on this glacier and took him out. We did all that on video, but they water down here at this lake. It's a pretty good herd. I do like it, but where I found the best luck is down in the private of Hollywood. There's a campsite kind of down here in the west corner of it, and you go just northwest of there. There's this little lake, and I have 3 herds of elk there, all of them with 5-star potential, and I've taken 4 5 stars here, which is just, maybe it's 3 5 stars. I won't exaggerate. It could be 3 5 stars, but I think it's been 4. But the 3 herds, very good genetic potentials, all of them. They're all going to keep growing into 5 stars as long as I manage that herd properly. I'll constantly have 5 stars there. Now, that's Rocky Mountain elk. If you're going for horned species like mountain goat, bighorn, kind of up here in the She Devil and Sheep Eater Ridge area is the best place to be. I believe She Devil is private, if I remember correctly. She Devil is private. That's correct. She Devil is private, and Sheep Eater isn't. So you kind of have this lower ridge, lower area to hunt, but you have all this little canyon to hunt as well, and there is a little pond there as well, which is good for bighorn and the mountain goat. You also have Rocky Mountain elk there. I haven't seen great genetics there, but I also haven't farmed them that much for better genetics. Now, if you're going for deer species, whitetail and mule deer, the diamond drill, which is also private, is by far the best. Down on the east corner, southeast corner of that area, there's a little lake there. Everyone's had really good success there. I've had multiple 4-star mule deer. None of them have grown into 5-star, or I've just missed them. Tracking other things that were 5 stars. Ended up dying off for whatever reason, or they just didn't actually grow into 5 stars. But I've seen good 4-star whitetail there as well. Two of them at least. But where I got my 5-star whitetail, which was almost max score, it was actually outside the private, right over here along the river. He's coming up, feeding along the little mountain range there. Now, the last antlered species is moose, and they're kind of all along this little river section. These 2 ponds by the campsite down here. This is just south of Rui's cabin. This is all public. You can hunt this without having to pass these 2 lakes. In particular, this one has been really good for me for moose and all the bird species. I just took a 5-star bird there, a wild duck there. I've taken a 5-star wild duck in here as well. But I have multiple moose herds up in here, and then going up further into here, I have currently a 4-star moose I'm hoping will grow into a 5-star right in this region. But if you don't want to hunt the private for moose, far north center of the map, there's a campsite all along this swampy region. Very good for moose. Lots of moose herds in there, lots of bird herds in there. I've seen whitetail there, and I've seen a bug where I had mountain goat and bighorn in there. They kind of teleported with me when I fast traveled, so that was fun. But nonetheless, moose, very good along the swamp region up north there. Go northern in the Fall Reservoir, I have herds. Not great genetic herds, but I do have herds as well, moose up there. But those are the hot spots that I've found for the antlered species. My last tip is, if you're just starting out, stay on Nez Perce Valley, really explore the map, get to know it, get all the weapons you want, especially the 300 monoblock before you move on to Transylvania. You're going to want that 300, not 300 monoblock, 300 SM12, because you're going to want that for the red deer and some of the other species that are there on Transylvania. But Transylvania is a lot harder to hunt. You see that this map is pretty wide open. There is some good tree coverage. For some reason, even though Transylvania has some pretty wide open spaces, it's really hard to find species when you're just starting out. So I do recommend staying focused on Nez Perce, really learn the game, learn the mechanics, learn the weapons, learn the leads if you're shooting moving targets, learn the drop of the bullet, and practice your calls, because as you practice your calls and call in more animals, you'll upgrade your calling capability through the perks. and then you can call in the bigger animals when you get to Transylvania. Transylvania is a fun map. It's a really pretty region, but it's a little bit harder. So I do recommend staying on Nest Purse, at least for a little bit, until you get leveled up and you get some better weapons. And there's a great example of why Nest Purse is such a good map. And just see those deer way out there. One of them looking pretty decent, actually. And when you do upgrade your scope, it's going to make this a lot easier. He's actually not that nice. But see, we can see him and we're like, okay, he's not that nice. Not chase after him. But that's because I have the upgrade scope. I'm using the stock scope and stock binoculars. I'm going to have to get in a lot closer and check on him before I move on to other herds. And with that, guys, I think that's a lot of the main tips that I wish I knew starting out, especially for herd management. That was something I wanted to do, but I didn't fully understand it until I got into the game and played it quite a bit, as we had some cute little badgers running by. Just take it slow, learn the animal species, be sure not to be killing out a bunch of youngs like I unfortunately did, and you'll do a lot better in the long run. If you're going for cash, just focus on not killing females, because you'll hurt your population over time, and unfortunately that means that you'll have less animals to make money. But do the missions and you'll make a lot of money really quick. Now, those of you that have been in the game for a while, leave a comment down below of tips that you think beginners should know and should follow as they get started. And if you're a beginner at the game, or you're still on the fence of getting the game, highly recommend it. Get the game and then leave a comment down below with questions that you have for me about the game and the tips and tricks that I can give you, and I'll try my best to help you out. If you like this video, or you like me and you like the channel, please consider hitting the subscribe button and the bell notification button so you don't miss out on any more new content. Helps me and the channel grow, pushes me out into the YouTube stratosphere a little bit more, because YouTube likes it when people are liking, commenting, subscribing to channels. And of course, if you like the video, give it a big thumbs up and share it with a friend so they can enjoy it as well, especially if you're trying to convince them to get in the way of the hunter, so you can have a hunting buddy to go along with you on your hunts. And then last but not least, go enjoy a good hunt with a good friend. I'll catch you in the next one.